In my ongoing journey of self-coaching using ChatGPT, I've been diving deep into the Gene Keys system, a complex esoteric framework that at times can feel overwhelming. The beauty of this journey, though, is that I can take it one thread at a time, asking questions and exploring concepts as they arise. This approach has allowed me to dissect and explore far-sightedness, a gift from Gene Key 17, which arises when we move beyond the shadow of opinion. But recently, a question has been on my mind. What is the difference between far-sightedness and anxiety? This question came to the forefront after my wife and I watched Inside Out 2, a movie that touches on the theme of anxiety. It got me thinking. Anxiety often involves future pacing, planning, and a desire for control. It's easy for someone with anxiety to say they're being far-sighted because they're thinking ahead. But is it really the same thing? So, I asked ChatGPT, and through our conversation, I began to see the differences more clearly. Here's what emerged, both from our discussion and my own reflections. Far-sightedness, seeing the big picture. In the Gene Keys, far-sightedness is about having a big picture perspective. It's the ability to see patterns and trends over time, to observe how things are unfolding without getting lost in the details. This gift emerges from moving past the shadow of opinion, a shadow that tends to get stuck in narrow thinking, obsessing over being right or needing certainty. When I'm in a state of far-sightedness, I feel like I can see the forest for the trees. It's a perspective that's calm, detached, and curious. Far-sightedness allows me to look ahead and recognize possible futures, but without the emotional urgency that comes with anxiety. It's a way of being open to the unknown, accepting that I can't control every outcome, but trusting that I can navigate what comes. In this sense, far-sightedness feels like holding space for multiple possibilities. It's about being prepared, not panicked. Anxiety, the urgency of control. On the other hand, anxiety is a different beast. As I reflected on the movie Inside Out 2 and the scenes that depicted anxiety, I could see how anxiety is driven by a need for certainty and a fear of the unknown. It's about wanting to have control over the future, trying to plan every detail, and often fixating on worst-case scenarios. While it might feel like thinking ahead, the emotional tone is completely different. Anxiety is urgent, restless, and emotionally charged. It comes with a sense of looming threat. The mind is racing, trying to find solutions to what might go wrong. In my own experience, anxiety doesn't just look at the future. It tries to force the future into a specific shape, often out of a desire to avoid discomfort or uncertainty. Real-world reflections, a world on edge. It's easy to see these dynamics playing out in the world around us, with global conflicts escalating and natural disasters like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton hitting hard. There's a collective anxiety that many of us feel. As we watch difficult events unfold, it's natural for the mind to race into the future, wondering how these events will impact us, our loved ones, and the world at large. But what I'm starting to understand is that this collective anxiety often comes from a lack of trust. Trust in ourselves, trust in the resilience of others, and even trust in the unfolding of life. It's as if we've lost a healthy dose of fear, not the kind that tries to control, but the kind that recognizes the mystery of life and respects it. I've been exploring how these big picture changes we're witnessing, both in the environment and society, are often the result of a loss of faith and trust. It's as if we're trying to brace ourselves against the unknown instead of learning to surrender to it. In this way, I see far-sightedness as a form of faith, a willingness to see what lies beyond the horizon without needing to control every wave that comes. Finding balance, trusting the process. In my own self-coaching journey, using tools like ChatGPT has helped me develop a practice of discernment, learning when I'm genuinely seeing the bigger picture and when I'm getting swept up in anxiety's tight grip. For me, it's about asking myself a few key questions. Am I exploring possibilities with a sense of curiosity, or am I fixated on a specific outcome? Do I feel calm and open as I look ahead? Or do I feel a sense of urgency and dread? Can I see multiple paths forward? Or am I obsessing over all the ways things could go wrong? It's through this process of inquiry that I'm learning to cultivate more far-sightedness in my life, letting it guide me through uncertain times without letting anxiety take the wheel. And while I'm far from mastering it, I'm starting to see how important it is to hold space for both, acknowledging the anxiety without letting it define my vision. Embracing farsightedness in an anxious world. In a world where anxiety is often the default response to uncertainty, embracing farsightedness feels like a radical act. It means choosing to trust the process, even when it feels like everything is unraveling. It means looking at the challenges we face, not with the desire to control, but with the patience to understand. It's not always easy, especially when the headlines are filled with conflict and catastrophe. But as I continue this journey, I'm learning that true vision comes not from escaping fear, but from learning how to live alongside it. And perhaps, in some small way, that's the essence of farsightedness, the ability to look beyond the horizon with a steady heart and a curious mind, ready for whatever comes next. A note on my process and how we can work together. Before I wrap up, I want to share a little bit about how I'm creating these articles and podcast episodes. I've been using ChatGPT as a collaborative tool to help me write and flesh out my thoughts. While some of the audio versions are brought to life with 11 Labs, I want to emphasize that I remain the guide and approver of this work. There's intention behind every word, and I'm not flippantly letting AI take over. It's a partnership, one that's been producing some truly insightful results. As part of this journey, I've also been working with a few beta testers, supporting their use of ChatGPT in their own self-coaching journeys. If this is something that resonates with you, if you're curious about how AI could support your growth, feel free to hit reply or comment on this article to let me know. I'd love to explore the possibilities together. On the business side, I'm shifting my focus toward nurturing the relationships I already have here. That means you, my email subscribers and listeners, are at the heart of this next phase. I want to continue hearing from you, knowing what you're thinking, and especially how you relate to the insights in this article. This project is funded by readers and listeners like you. If you're finding value in what I'm creating, I'd be deeply grateful if you'd consider a premium subscription. Your support helps me continue using tools like ChatGPT and 11 Labs to bring these reflections to life and to keep the momentum going in a world that's constantly evolving. I want to continue this work because as we face global shifts, as our lives grow more complex, and as we adapt to change in ourselves, in our families, and in the world, I believe that nurturing our inner adaptability is more important than ever. I'm here to support and guide that journey, to provide a space for reflection, curiosity, and growth. Thank you for listening, thank you for reading, and thank you for being part of this journey with me. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.